evening, you're watching Estuary News. Coming up, we find out why a health organisation has gone green. And the Reverend Katie Toogood from the Team Parish of Louth delivers our weekly reflections. And my guest in the studio is Sue Soper, director who is looking for people for the production of Dad's Army. Welcome to Estuary News. I'm Emma Lingard, but first it's over to Erica Barker for the news headlines.
Cleethorpes MP Martin Vickers says he's confident that the authorities are doing their job after Border Force officers discovered 51 people during a search of a Hungarian-registered lorry which had arrived on a freight vessel at Killingholme on Sunday morning. Paramedics and police attended the scene and one woman, who was believed to be pregnant, was taken to hospital. The driver, a Hungarian national, has been arrested on suspicion of facilitating illegal immigration. North Lincolnshire Homes is offering financial advice to its tenants. Drop-in sessions have been taking place across the county, aiming to help people access money they are entitled to through benefits while raising awareness of universal credit. Gareth Roebuck from North Lincolnshire Homes says it's important to educate people about financial matters.
It's becoming more and more important all the time. We know too many people are having to rely on credit, and it's where they get that credit from. If we can help them and direct them to the right sort of people, then that's going to benefit everybody in the long run. It's going to benefit us because people can afford to pay the rent and have more finance available.
Mellowgate level crossing in Grimsby is reopened to motorists after works to improve 6 level crossings in the town. The major upgrade sees £83 million being spent on improving railway performance, with further upcoming upgrades at Friargate Fishdock Roads, Pasture Street, Littlefield Lane and Garden Street level crossings, with work due to be completed by the end of September. And the Academy in Grimsby has been praised for their commitment to create a high-quality learning experience for pupils. Opening its doors in September, part of the Grimsby Institute group for youngsters aged between 14 and 16 years old, it was visited by Ofsted for the first time. The Academy aims to ensure the right vocational skills are taught alongside more traditional subjects.
For once, I've got this right. They know that not all young people learn the right way. They know that businesses, in particular industry, are crying out for people with skills, not just academic, but also vocational as well. What I'm really pleased about is the people that want to be here want both. They don't just want the vocational side, they want the academic side as well. So what I've seen is a real shift in aspirations for parents. Parents want as many skills that they can get from their young people, now their children.
And that's all from me.
Thank you, Erica. Organisations are going green in a bid to cut their carbon footprint. In Grimsby, the Care Plus group provide community health and adult care services, has installed a number of solar panels onto its building, said to be the largest visible array of panels on a single building in North East Lincolnshire. Richard Morris went to find out more.
The Care Plus group in Lincolnshire has made a huge investment to make sure that a quarter of their energy needs in the building can be met by a solar array.
We are halfway through an installation of 120 250 watt solar panels on the roof of our main headquarters facility. And this array, once it's fully installed, should give us about a quarter of the complete electricity that the building uses during the course of a year, which is fantastic for us because it means that we can not only contribute to what we feel is our environmental responsibility and offsetting the carbon that we produce as an organisation, but it also helps us in terms of saving money as an organisation. And the type of organisation that we are, which is a social enterprise, we're a staff-owned organisation, it means that that money that's saved can be ploughed back into providing local services.
The Care Plus group hope that they are setting an example to other business properties in the local area, as they say solar panels make sense for commercial buildings.
It's particularly useful when you consider it in terms of commercial properties, and it's very simple in that a commercial property is likely to be full of people all day when the sun's out. I think it becomes a no-brainer for commercial organisations if they have the right circumstances, if they have the right aspect to their building. I think it's a no-brainer for organisations to install solar technology, not just because it's the right thing to do and it's environmentally responsible, but also because it stacks up financially. For domestic properties, it also stacks up as well. Anyway, it does stack up, but for commercial property particularly, because that's where the most of our staff are going to be in, this, which is essentially houses a huge amount of our teams, nurses, our core handling teams, our intermediate care at home, they're there during the day when the sun's out.
The installation is expected to be completed by the end of the week.
You're watching Estuary News. Coming up a little later, we'll be seeing the Reverend Kate Toogood for Reflections. And Erica Barker will bring you the latest local sports news and results. Now, Dad's Army has been through many stages, starting out as a television series. There have been films, a radio series and a stage production. Now it's coming to the amateur stage and Louth playgoers are looking for actors. And joining me to tell us more is Sue Soper, who is directing. Sue, welcome to the studio.
Thank
Now,
you.
obviously, everybody knows Dad's Army. I think it's a favourite probably amongst many people. Why have the playgoers decided to put this production on?
Well, it was actually thought about some time ago, but it wasn't sort of the right time.
Right.
And they felt that with the celebrations and what have you for this year, it would be an ideal thing for November to sort of think of the home guard,
Right.
people left behind. And so they brought it out and read it and decided this was the time.
Yeah.
And that's it. So we're doing it.
Brilliant. Well, I say most people know Dad's Army, I think, no matter what
Oh,
their
yes.
age, don't
Yes.
they? And
Yeah.
I imagine this is going to be a popular production when it opens then.
Oh, I think it is. It's a very much bums on seats job. It really is. Yes.
And full of laughs.
Oh, full of laughs. The
Comedy.
script is brilliant. Of course, it's the original script, and we don't deviate. It has to go out as it is writ.
Yeah.
It isn't a case of mucking about.
Yeah.
You can't enjoy it too much. You've got the fun is in the script. It really is a very good script.
This is it, when you watch it, you've got the characters in your head. Is that hard sometimes when you are producing such a well-known production that people are sat there going, oh, what they're doing there?
Yes. Well, I will tell you, I went to a bingo session at Louth Playgoers at Easter. And sitting at a table, I was talking to a man and wife who was sitting opposite me, and they heard me talking and saying that we were going to do it.
Right.
And they said, oh, yes, oh, and are you going to have the fleshings? So I said, yes. And then they started quoting the script word for word. And of course, this is what you are up against. People's memories.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, and they all remember these magic bits and come out with them.
And that's the thing for you. And we were going to talk more shortly about the auditions, but for you, I suppose it is making sure you've got the right people in that role, isn't it?
Oh yes, oh yes.
Yeah.
They've got to work on the stage. You have a printed image in everybody's head of size. The tall one, the short one, the
Yes.
fat one, the
Yes.
thin
Yeah.
one. And if you can sort of start with that, and if I can't have a fat one, I can always pad them.
Yeah.
But, you know, things like that. So you are ruled by what's gone before.
Exactly. Well, shortly, we're going to stay with me because we're going to talk more about the auditions and who can take part.
Right.
Right, now it's time for our weekly reflections, and this week it's the Reverend Kate Toogood.
Earlier this year, I had the privilege of attending a course in Cambridge at the Faraday Institute for Science and Religion. I came back filled with enthusiasm, not just for the subject, but also for how I could use that in my ministry here in Louth. I'm the coordinator of Messy Church in Louth, and so my idea was to launch Messy Science as part of our monthly practice. So there'd be, as well as the craft activities and time of worship, a science experiment linked to the theme. My hope is that as science becomes the norm and children see it used in church, that we can slowly unravel the misconception that science and religion are incompatible. My own background before I studied religion and theology was in mathematics, and I've always found that my scientific and faith backgrounds have not only complemented one another, but actually enhanced one another. My hope here is that as science becomes normal in a worship setting, that we can implicitly break down that false dichotomy that they're incompatible and see something of the beauty of God in science.
Now, still with me in the studio is Sue Soper, who's talking about the Louth Playgoers production of Dad's Army. Sue, the auditions are being held on Monday, aren't they, the 22nd of June?
Yeah.
So who are you actually looking for then?
Well, the actual things that we're going to do are called the Deadly Attachment,
Right.
which is the one with the German officer saying about got your name, Pike. Mum's Army, where main wearing, whatever you care to call him, falls in love with his first love. So
Right.
that, and then the Godiva Affair, which is where they do the Morris dancing.
Right.
And finally, the Floral Dance, which is not published at all.
Okay.
It's a sort of ad hoc choir that sing very badly the Floral Dance to bring the curtain down. But
so, I mean, how many people is it then, role-wise, are you seeking?
many.
It sounds like a lot.
Well, Mannering,
Yeah.
Wilson, Jones, Fraser, Godfrey, Private Walker, Private Pike, Private Sponge, Private Hancock, Colonel, U-boat Captain,
So it's
Warden, and this is
full-
only the first one.
it's the full cast,
Yeah.
so all the main roles
yeah.
as well. That you,
Yeah.
So anybody out there that thinks,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm Captain Mannering.
That's it
Or Pike.
entirely. Yes, I'm a stupid boy. Come along. Come and show us how stupid you can be.
So a lot of men needed for this
Yes.
role of all ages.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Is there a particular age that you're starting from?
No.
Okay.
It's,
Okay.
you can age people if you need them. If they're not old enough, we can
You
manage
can make
that.
them look old. So
But there are ladies.
you want ladies as well.
In
Okay.
Mum's Army, you have to have young ladies in bathing suits. Right? So
There'll be lots of takers for that one.
Well, I've already got a few who keep on saying to me, "Can I come in Dad's Army?" I said, "Well, can you wear a bathing costume?" Oh, I don't know whether my dad would let me.
Oh no! Yeah, our director's saying I should volunteer, but I don't think I will be doing for that one. No, thank you. So the people as well, you're saying you're looking for a mix of male and female
Yes,
roles,
yes.
doesn't matter what age they
Yeah,
are. Do they have to have acting experience?
Well, some of them no,
Okay.
because we need sailors. The German sailors
Yeah.
just have to be on the stage.
Okay.
We need various people in those sorts of roles,
Yeah.
and sort of fillers that don't do anything
Right,
except
yes.
you know.
They just
So
stand
one
there, yeah.
one young man says he's going to do drama. And he wants some experience. He doesn't necessarily want a part, but he wants to learn what the theatre's all about.
Yes.
Fine, we can take him on board
Yeah.
if he's all right.
That's it, because it's a big thing going on the stage, really.
it
I know a lot
is.
of people, you sat here and
Yeah.
the cameras around
Yeah.
you, but when you've got an audience there
Yes.
watching you,
Oh yes,
it can be quite
Yes.
daunting.
yes it can, and people can freeze as well. But if they're in a group and controllable, I would say that very carefully.
And they've got a good director like yourself
Oh,
there as
well,
well,
I hope
haven't
so.
they? Giving them the coaching and guidance that they need. I mean, going back to Dad's Army itself, I mean, there are such a mix of fabulous characters there, aren't there?
Everyone has to be there. It has to be that character. When we did Fawlty Towers, I found the characters.
Right.
I found the people, and it was utterly and absolutely believable.
Yeah.
The same with Vicar of Dibley. I found the right people.
Yeah.
That's the key. It's finding the right people.
It is, because like we said before, people obviously have seen the TV programme. They've got in their head who Captain Mannering is and who Private Pike is. But if they don't see them on the stage, they might feel a bit aggrieved.
Well, actually, somebody did say to me that they'd seen the semi-professional version of this that came to the auditorium years ago, and they didn't believe it.
Oh.
So that's also what I'm up against.
You've got a tall order there. I'm sure you'll do it, Sue. Before we finish, who's your favourite character then out the Dad's Army? Do you have one?
I think Mannering. I love him. I think it's a great character.
Yeah.
And he looks like my father-in-law.
I mean, he was he's very dry, wasn't he? Dry sense of humour as that captain.
He was just like him. And so, when he put his posh suit on, he was just like him.
Was he? So just to remind people, the auditions are being held at the Playgoers Theatre, aren't they, at the Riverhead? What time on Monday?
We start at 7:30.
Okay.
But you have to fill in a form and have a label put on you.
So can people just turn up?
They can indeed.
Okay, so if people are interested, then they just need to turn up to the Riverhead Theatre on Monday the 22nd of June.
That's it.
Fingers crossed, all goes well.
Then let battle commence.
Exactly. Thank you for coming in, Sue.
You're very welcome.
Now, joining me to look back over the weekend news is Dan Kemp. Dan, what do you think of our new look set? I have to ask you.
I think it looks very smart.
Doesn't it?
Yeah,
smarter than you today.
Well,
you haven't got a tie
I wouldn't have said that at all. I've got something to replace the tie.
Have you?
I have.
Oh, you're talking about this.
I'm talking about my whole 10k medal. Should we start with that then?
Would you like this beautiful medal? Yeah, go on, Dan. Tell us. You did this yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah, this was the story that on Sunday, I think it was the 7th Hull 10k took place through the streets of the city. I think it was 5,000 to 6,000 people took part in the race, which I think is fantastic testament to the amount of people to the people of Hull for wanting to turn out for the event. What I would say is the amount of people that turned out on the streets on a rainy Sunday morning was quite impressive as well. And it was really nice. It was really nice to have the people kind of cheering you on. And
are you sure they weren't booing you as you were running along?
I wasn't getting. I was getting some great support off you know.
And now you did this with your mum, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
But go on, tell everybody what you did to your mum.
What I did.
You didn't run with her, did you?
No, I didn't.
You bought this as a birthday present.
It was a Mother's Day present.
Who buys their mum a 10k run for Mother's Day?
She'd been saying for quite a long time that she wanted to get into running. And do you want to go for a run, Mum? No, I'm doing my tea. I'm doing the tea maybe tomorrow. Never happened. So I thought, no, let's get her doing it. And she did it, to be fair.
Yeah, but what did you do to your mum? You didn't run with her, did you?
No.
What did you do? You abandoned her, didn't you?
I didn't abandon her. I had my own time to try and achieve.
Go on then, tell us, what time did you do?
I did 51:57.
Is that good?
Which I think is good for a first time. It's not particularly outstanding. The winner did it in 33 minutes 31 seconds, which was the winning male, and I think that might be a little bit out of my reach, but again, fantastic.
And of course, this was all started, wasn't it, by Jane Tomlinson?
Yes, the fundraiser from West Yorkshire.
Yeah.
She died a few years ago. And obviously, it's all done in her memory and raising money for the Jane Tomlinson Appeal, which is what your entrance fee goes towards. And we also raised money for the Hull Animal Welfare Trust as well.
Okay,
brilliant. We raised £164,
well done,
I believe.
Dan, and
that's good.
The rest of them that did that, because I couldn't do it. I have
it wasn't
to say.
Just me.
It'd have to be a horse that I was sat on. Right, come on then, next story.
A little bit more serious, this one. A brick was hurled through a car on Peaks Parkway in Grimsby.
Okay.
PC Barry Gardner, who's the road safety officer for the Humberside Force, said it was mindless behaviour and could cost someone their life.
A very dangerous action. Have they caught the person, or do they know who might have done it?
Well, they believe it was criminal damage, of course, by Yobs throwing bricks at moving cars, and the driver didn't want to be identified but was stopped in his red Seat XAO estate car.
Okay. Not very good at all. Well, unfortunately, that's all we've got time for, Dan.
Okay.
That is it from you for
today. I did have a
today.
good pile here.
You did do well. It's better to be prepared than not at all. Anyway, thank you for coming in. Right, now it's over to Erica Barker for the sport.
Hundreds of people donned their trainers and took to the start line as Hull's 10K got underway on Sunday. Entering its 7th year, the fastest time was Alec Gibson at 33 minutes 31 seconds, with thousands of pounds being raised for charity. In Super League, Hull FC lost 2014 when they faced the Catalan Dragons on Saturday. Head coach Lee Radford admitted they blew a number of chances to extend their impressive winning streak, and that the humid weather made it tough for both sides. Well, former Bradford Bull and Sydney Rooster Curtis Norton is back from injury and hoping to reclaim his place in the Hull FC starting lineup after recently extending his contract with the club for another year. The 20-year-old is back in contention for this weekend's game away at Leeds Rhinos, following almost a month on the sidelines due to injury. Elsewhere, Hull KR beat Widnes Vikings 38-16 at the KC Lightstream Stadium on Sunday, with Ken Seo scoring a hat-trick as the Robins gained victory in front of the home faithful. In other news, at the prestigious Brougham Horse Trials, Grimsby's equestrian rider Holly Woodhead came first with a dressage score of 33 points, 11 points ahead of her nearest rival. And together with her 23 teammates, Amy Goswell, hailing from Cleethorpes, helped steer England into pole position as they bid to retain the British women's team title in bowls at the Royal Leamington Spa yesterday with a 124 to 103 triumph over Scotland. And that's all from the sport.
Thank you to my guest, Sue Soap, and of course Dan Kemp, who's proudly sat here wearing his medal. If you have a news story, then visit our Facebook or Twitter pages. Details are on the screen, or email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 01472 315 553. Until tomorrow, good evening.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hornsby's, celebrating 100 years in buses.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Early light rain and drizzle on Tuesday, giving way to sunny spells later with highs of 20 degrees Celsius. Wednesday will be windy with cloud and some outbreaks of rain.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hornsby's, celebrating 100 years in buses.